Have you ever wondered how some people remain calm no matter what happens? Not fake calm. Not the kind that simmers quietly until it explodes into a 3-page text at midnight. I mean the kind of peace that feels like an anchor, even when the boat is shaking. That's the kind I wanted. And I thought I'd find it by rearranging my schedule, cutting out toxic people, or maybe just drinking better tea. But peace, I learned, isn't something you find. It's something you build. And you don't build it in grand declarations. You build it in the tiny, frustrating, ordinary moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when your plans fall apart, when someone eats the last slice of cake and blinks like you're the irrational one. That's the construction site, right there. So before you relax, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I'm building here. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what time is it right now? If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so we can explore deeper Stoic lessons together. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." That quote didn't hit me until I realized I had spent years avoiding discomfort in the name of keeping the peace. But that kind of peace was just avoidance in disguise. It was a house with no foundation. There's a modern-day Stoic I know who sets an alarm to wake himself up at night. Not for productivity, not for hustle-grind nonsense, but just to sit in the dark and feel the discomfort of interruption, to remind himself that he's still okay. Odd, right? But that's the point. Peace isn't comfort, it's capacity. And here's a question philosophers still debate today. If peace requires effort, is it really peace? Or is it just another form of control? Personally, I don't think peace needs to be passive. It's a choice, an active one. And like any meaningful choice, it gets stronger the more you practice it in inconvenient moments. The goal isn't to feel good all the time. The goal is to feel grounded, even when you don't. That's how the first layer of inner peace gets poured. There was a time I believed that if I could just control everything, I could finally relax. I'd manage people's moods, dodge difficult conversations, obsess over tiny details, like whether someone's okay with me. That wasn't peace. That was performance, and it's exhausting. What I didn't realize then, you don't control how someone speaks to you, but you choose your response. You don't control the market crash, the flight delay, or your coworker's 5-sneeze tantrum, but you control you. And in that gap, in that sacred pause between stimulus and response, is your power. Some scholars still debate whether Stoicism encourages emotional suppression. Should we feel less? Do we bury anger to be virtuous? But I think they're missing the nuance. To me, Stoicism isn't about not feeling. It's about not being ruled by feelings. There's a difference between noticing your anger and handing it the steering wheel. One habit I picked up, which I'll admit is a little odd, is writing my frustration in third person. She is annoyed the barista forgot her name again. He is frustrated the Wi-Fi cut out during the meeting. It's small, but it creates distance, and distance creates perspective. Most of us react without thinking, then regret with clarity. But if you create just enough space between the trigger and your response, you can choose a different story, maybe even a peaceful one. Peace doesn't come from silencing others. It comes from silencing the part of you that thinks you need to win every battle. The louder the world gets, the more valuable your quiet becomes. I used to think inner peace was a kind of silence. You know, clear calendar, no noise, no conflict, no email notifications. But then I had one of those weeks, you know the kind? 3 crises, 2 missed deadlines, 1 mysterious charge on your bank account, and a voicemail from a relative who still thinks boundaries means you're being rude. And yet, I didn't crack, didn't snap, didn't spiral, didn't even raise my voice. Not because I'd finally solved my problems, but because I'd found something underneath them. A stillness that wasn't about the absence of chaos. It was the refusal to be shaken by it. Marcus Aurelius, writing in the chaos of Roman rule, once said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." And he wasn't writing that from a spa. He was emperor, surrounded by betrayal, war, and death, yet still, he found that space inside. There's an odd practice I picked up from a Stoic-inspired runner I met. He deliberately chooses the worst treadmill at the gym. You know the one, broken fan, weird angle, smells like regret. Why? Because it reminds him that peace isn't about optimizing conditions. It's about carrying stillness into the messiest environments. There's a beautiful academic question that arises here. And in those moments, I remind myself, everything around me is movement, but I don't have to move with it. Peace isn't the luxury of the privileged. It's the discipline of the steady. And you don't find it on a mountaintop. You build it in traffic, in tension, in silence, in noise, in you. The world will never stop spinning. People will interrupt. Plans will unravel. The noise will rise. You already know this. But inside you, there's a room. Quiet, clear, untouched. That's where Stoicism leads you. Not away from life, but deeper into it, with steadiness. Peace is not passive. It's a strength, patiently built in discomfort, again and again, like a muscle. Not through denial, not through running away, but by remembering. As Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." So when the world pulls, let go. When chaos knocks, stay seated. Let the flame flicker around you, but guard the wick. That is unshakable peace. And it lives in you already. You don't have to wait for the world to quiet down to feel it. Just choose it, now, breath by breath. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so we can continue exploring deeper Stoic lessons each day. And if you're still here, drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is. Your presence, in this moment, is proof. You're already becoming stronger and calmer.